Good evening, you're watching 7 at 7, the only news bulletin where we at India Today curate the day's top 7. Just coming in right now, and this is big because the government has now asked Priyanka Gandhi Vadra to vacate her bungalow in Lodi Road. This is the latest that is coming in. Priyanka Gandhi stays with her family in a bungalow at Lodi Road, and the government has said that she needs to vacate the bungalow as soon as possible. A date has also been given. As of the 1st of August, Priyanka Gandhi Vadra, along with her family, needs to vacate that bungalow, which is pretty much in the heart of the national capital, Lutyens, Delhi, Lodi Road. Priyanka Gandhi resides there with her husband, with her children, and now she has been asked in no clear terms but to leave as soon as possible and vacate the bungalow that she has been occupying for years now. I want to cut across Munish Pandey, who's getting us more information on this. You know, Munish, this is not the first time that bungalow politics has come into the picture. Even earlier, there were demands that she vacate the bungalow, and now it seems that the government's bitten the bullet, asked her to vacate and given her a deadline that she needs to be out of her residence in Lodi Road alongside her family, and that deadline is the 1st of August.
Well, Preeti, what we have been given to understand from the urban ministry is that, urban development ministry is that this bungalow was allotted to Priyanka Gandhi on the basis of the Z plus security she was given. Now that the security, Z plus security has been withdrawn from Priyanka Gandhi, she is no more eligible to stay in this house, which is in Lodi Garden, and that is why now she has been given a month notice to vacate this residential premises. But of course, politics will erupt over this new development, because earlier the security was withdrawn. Now this government bungalow, she has been asked to vacate. Now it seems that the politics between the Bharatiya Janata Party and Congress will erupt over this. Back to you.
Munish, very quickly now, any response that is coming from Priyanka Gandhi's side? Because if you remember, when security was taken away, she said that she didn't want it and the government can keep it. Is there going to be any resistance at all, or Priyanka Gandhi will duly vacate this bungalow? And give us a little perspective on this bungalow. You know, Munish, how many years has she occupied it for? Under what conditions was she given the bungalow? And who has been paying for the bungalow? Has the funds come in from the Congress, or the government has been footing the bill for this bungalow?
Yeah, well, this is a bungalow for which Priyanka Gandhi has to pay rent to the government, and she was paying rent for this bungalow. We do know that she was staying in this premises from last many years along with Robert Vadra and her children, but you know, earlier her security was withdrawn. Z plus security of entire Gandhi family was withdrawn, and later on she was given the lower category security. Now what the Urban Development Ministry maintains that this bungalow was given to her on the basis of the Z plus security she was provided by the government, but now she has no more Z plus security. That is why she has to vacate this bungalow in next 1 month. That is by 1st August she has to vacate this bungalow. Now this order copy has come just a while back, so we are expecting that Priyanka Gandhi will comment on it,
right,
but only after some time.
Munish, is this going to start a chain of, a sequence of events? Because if you look at it, even Rahul Gandhi occupies a government bungalow on his own. His mother is separate. However, Rahul Gandhi right now enjoys no party position. He's only a Wayanad MP. So on that front, not really authorized to keep a government bungalow in Lutyens, Delhi. Is he going to be next?
No, well, Preeti, we have to see that what exactly happens in terms of the bungalow which has been allotted to the Gandhi family. But it seems that from last some time, earlier the security, now these bungalows, of course, heat is on the Gandhi family. And now we have to see what the government does next with Rahul Gandhi and the other members of Gandhi family.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Munish Pandey. We're going to come back to you for more updates. So this is big. Till now, there was a lot of gesturing. posturing, and now the government has given the notice, which is to Priyanka Gandhi Vadra to vacate her bungalow in which she resides, which is, in the heart of Lutyens, Delhi. Mind you, she's been paying the market rent for that of her own volition, but now she's been told that she can no longer occupy that bungalow. That bungalow was given to her as per the security norms that she enjoyed earlier. When the security cover was taken away, the bungalow needs to go now. What would be Priyanka Gandhi's response? We're going to keep a keen eye on that, but I want to quickly shift into the next news break that is just about filtering in. All right, so news just coming in. It seems the Parliament will open again for the monsoon session after the monsoon would have passed. Word coming in, it's the end of August that we are going to see Parliament open for the monsoon session. We're going to try and get in the very latest on that. If our viewers can, go back, jog their memories, there was a lot of pressure on the government to close down the Parliament as well. A lot of MPs had asked the government to close down the Parliament when coronavirus had started peaking. The government had hesitated in the beginning. There were charges that were made that the government was prolonging the parliamentary summer session because of possible the Madhya Pradesh political crisis. Finally, the government shut down the parliament as well as the entire country went into lockdown mode. But it seems as India is opening up, so will the parliament. I want to bring in Rahul Srivastava, our national affairs editor, to getting us more on this. Rahul, it seems that the Parliament will now open for the monsoon session after the monsoon would have rolled over.
You see, Preeti, there is, in the Parliament parlance or rules, there is nothing called a monsoon session. Monsoon session is a term allocated to a monsoon session which is held during the monsoons. Now, given the COVID-19 pandemic spread, there has been a huge amount of deliberations within the government. Over the last 3 months, the Chairman Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha Speaker have held series of meetings in which there was deliberations on whether the Lok Sabha can be shifted to the Central Hall for ensuring social distancing, and the Rajya Sabha to the Lok Sabha because there are a larger number of seats available. But even then, a final report was compiled by the Secretary Generals of the two houses, in which it was found that even with 2 gaz ki duri element, even the Central Hall is inadequate. But now what is happening is that the Chairman Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha both have said that the government will be in a problem because Parliament is stipulated to meet within a 6-month period of a last session. Now, the last session was in March, and by September it will be too late. So within that stipulated period, a Parliament session has to be held. And that is why the view now in the government and among the two chairs in Parliament is that since COVID-19 would be around and would not be gone, and a lot of containment and restrictions will be there, all the members of Parliament may not be attending the House, given their duties in their own constituencies also. And that is why, if the numbers are lesser in terms of the number of members attending the House, then definitely a short session can be called. So if the government is now thinking of delaying the session and holding it in August, it is also it's also a rule-based compliance issue that the government has to hold a session within 6 months of the last held session.
All right, appreciate you joining us, Rahul. We're going to come back to you for more updates. My colleague Rahul Srivastava giving us the details on when the monsoon session will come into play and the protocols for that. With that, I want to shift focus to our third big story that we're tracking in 7 at 7, and that is the real face of the nexus between Pakistan and China has been exposed. As China has moved troops to Ladakh, so has Pakistan. In the wake of all these developments, we have now the Defence Minister, Rajnath Singh, who would be going to Ladakh by the weekend, which is Friday.
"57 days of non-stop confrontation in eastern Ladakh. And while generals on both sides spent 12 hours discussing disengagement on Tuesday, it's precisely the opposite that's happening on the ground. In the latest development, China has deployed 2 additional divisions of its mechanized forces along the line of actual control in eastern Ladakh. The Indian security forces are also keeping a hawk eye on the movement of Chinese troops in the rear positions in Tibet where an additional 10,000 troops have been holding an exercise for some time now. In response, the Indian Army has shifted 3 divisions, including 30,000 troops and frontline strike weaponry like tanks, infantry combat vehicles and artillery to Ladakh. And in the most serious friction point of Pangong So, the army will soon receive high-performance boats to escalate patrolling in response to the Chinese build-up there.
The big Indian Army mobilization has been an ongoing process as a response to the Chinese aggression in eastern Ladakh. And this is in keeping with the threat perception that China wants to push things to the brink. However, this troop build-up isn't restricted to the line of actual control.
As India had expected, and validating India Today's report last week, the Pakistan army has also mobilized 2 divisions of troops, about 20,000 strong, along the Gilgit-Baltistan area, producing a 2-front scenario to the Indian military.
It's a fact that Pakistan's deployment along the line of control today is more than what it was even after the Balakot airstrikes. This is an indicator that Pakistan is doing this on China's orders, an order that Pakistan can ill afford to ignore. The fact remains, at this point of time, India is facing hostilities on 2 borders. Pakistan on the north and the west, China north and east. A threat that's big on 2 fronts.
In yet another front, Indian intelligence alarms have sounded on Chinese efforts to revive Pakistan's Al-Badr terror group in order to escalate violence in J&K. What India therefore faces is more than a 2-front war, with 2 nuclear neighbors in a hostile axis and with both looking to pour fuel on terror activity. With Kamaljeet Sandhu and Manjeet Negi in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
I want to connect to my colleague Abhishek Phalla, who's joining us from Leh at this juncture. You know, Abhishek, can you get us up to speed? Was this visit of the Indian Defence Minister routine? Was he expected with what has gone down in the past? Or is this particularly in wake of the nexus now that we see built with China and Pakistan bolstering troops in Ladakh?
Rapid developments have taken place, Preeti, in the last few days. First, it was the unexpected Corps Commander level meet, which went on for 12 hours yesterday. And now the announcement that the Raksha Mantri will be visiting Ladakh on Friday. He will be meeting field commanders, interacting with troops on the ground, and will also pay a visit to the Leh hospital where those brave hearts who were injured in the June 15 Galwan clash are recovering. So a pat on their back as a morale booster for the entire Indian Army. Why his visit is extremely significant is because it sends a very strong message that the Indian political leadership is taking cognizance of the fact that how serious the situation at the line of actual control has been. Things still remain extremely volatile, irrespective of those continuous military dialogue that has happened over the last 1 month.
Appreciate you joining us, Abhishek. We want to continue to come to you from Leh. Abhishek has been filing a battery of reports from Leh and Ladakh and keeping us abreast and our viewers abreast with the latest development. Now, the latest is that the Defence Minister would be visiting the region come Friday. Thank you, Abhishek, for joining us. I want to now shift focus on what has happened in Jammu and Kashmir. We've often been told and we've often seen the terrible price that some pay for terror or of terror, of being victims of terror. This time, this price was paid by a 3-year-old boy. A 3-year-old boy. Let that sink in and take a look at these visuals.
हम लेके जा रही है ना हम लेके जा रहे हैं देखो वो देखो आपके लिए बिस्किट भी लाया चॉकलेट लाया चॉकलेट मामू के पास लेके जाएंगे
This is the price of terror. A 3-year-old boy scarred for life. It was supposed to be a fun day out with his grandfather, but instead, in front of his eyes, his grandfather was shot dead. This image has shattered India. A little boy, numb with shock, crying for help, as he lies next to the bullet-ridden body of his grandfather. He was in the car with his grandfather when the firing started. Desperate to save the little boy, the grandfather got out of the car and tried to run to a safe spot. He was shot dead by Pakistani terrorists. His grandson left sitting on his motionless body. Our forces finally came to the little boy's rescue. Seeing the uniform, the infant ran towards the CRPF personnel present and was then immediately tended to.
आपको हम लेके जा रहे हैं ना हम लेके जा रहे हैं देखो आप इधर वो देखो आपके लिए बिस्किट भी लाया चॉकलेट मामू के पास लेके जाएंगे।
सबसे बड़ा डिस्टर्बिंग हमारे लिए ये था कि जब हमने एक छोटा बच्चा देखा 2-2.5 साल के करीब जो है वो इर्द गिर्द घूम रहा है और मीनवाइल जो है जैसे ही हम पहुंचे उस वक्त भी काफी फायरिंग वहां से अपोजिट साइड से आ रही थी। तो इस बच्चे को इवोकेट करना हमारी प्रायोरिटी थी और हमारा काफी चैलेंजिंग था क्योंकि सामने से फायर आ रहा था, कोई आड़ नहीं थी, कुछ नहीं था। वहां से उठा के हमने इसको लिया।
वहां से एक कार में 65 ईयर ओल्ड एक बशीर साहब जा रहे थे, उसके गाड़ी में एक छोटा बच्चा था। वो पैनिकली गाड़ी से निकल के बच्चा को लेकर भागना चाहा, उनको भी गोली लग गया। उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा काम किया, अपनी जान को हथेली में डाल के फायरिंग के बीच में जाके बच्चों को वहां से रेस्क्यू किया।
Every time sympathizers justify the acts of these terrorists, show them this image. Every time baiters question our forces, show them this image. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, let's move on right now to Karnataka, and this visual that came in from Bellary would shock you. We've seen many like that, and they continue to shock. But look at this. This video, you can see health officials dumping bodies of those who have died of coronavirus in an open pit. And it's just not one video from Bellary. Multiple have come in after that.
Bodies of COVID-19 victims being tossed carelessly into a mass grave. No sensitivity, no empathy, a total lack of interest in according dignity to the dead. The incident took place in Karnataka's Bellary district. As the video went viral and anger erupted, the district commissioner issued a public apology, but admitted that the way 8 bodies were handled was disrespectful.
Body packing ಏನೇನಿದೆ ಅದು ವಿಡಿಯೋದಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವುದಿದೆ ನೋಡಿದ್ರು ಕೂಡ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಪ್ಯಾಕಿಂಗ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಒಂದು ರೀತಿಯ ಮೋರ್ ಮಾನವೀಯ ದೃಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಅದನ್ನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗುತ್ತೆ. ಅದನ್ನ ಎನ್ಕ್ವೈರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು ನಮ್ಮ ವಿಡಿಯೋನ ಏನು ಅಂತ.
The Bellary administration claims that all protocols were followed in the handling of the bodies. The rules say that the bodies must be wrapped in 3 layers of PPE material and placed in a body bag. The body has to be picked up by a special funeral vehicle and is then taken either for deep burial or cremation. Families are allowed at the cemetery in rare cases but not during the transportation of body. In case of a burial, an earth mover digs a 10-foot grave, disinfectant is sprayed and area is cordoned off. The mass dumping of bodies has set off a political debate.
The dead bodies of coronavirus bodies, the way has been treated, the entire country has been witnessed. I'm very sorry. I think the people of Karnataka is shocked. I request the Chief Minister to apologize the people of this country.
Under fire, the Karnataka government has suspended the entire team that was involved in the burial.
ನಡ್ಕೊಂಡಂತ ರೀತಿ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾನು ಖಂಡನೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೇನೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಕ್ರಮನೂ ತಗೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೇವೆ. ತಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನೀವು ತೋರಿಸೋದ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಮ್ದೇನು ಅಭ್ಯಂತರ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆ ತರ ವಿಷಯಗಳು ಜನರು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು, ಸರ್ಕಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಬೇಕು. ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಮನೂ ತಗೊಳ್ತೇವೆ. ಇನ್ನು ಮುಂದೆ ಇಂಥದ್ದು ಒಂದು ಸಂಗತಿ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗದಂಗೆ ಎಚ್ಚರ ವಹಿಸಕ್ಕೆ ಕ್ರಮ ತಗೊಂಡು 6 ಜನ ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ.
ಬಳ್ಳಾರಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಬಹಳ ಅಮಾನವೀಯ. ಬದುಕಿದವರಿಗೆ ಎಷ್ಟು ಗೌರವ ಕೊಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಸತ್ತವರಿಗೂ ಕೂಡ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಗೌರವ ಕೊಡೋದು ಭಾರತೀಯ ಸಂಸ್ಕೃತಿ. ಆ ರೀತಿ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅದು ಬಹಳ ತಪ್ಪು, ಅಮಾನವೀಯ. ಅವರಿಗೆ ಕಾನೂನು ರೀತಿ ಸಂಬಂಧಪಟ್ಟಂತ ಇಲಾಖೆಯವರು ಸಸ್ಪೆಂಡ್ ಆಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅವ್ರ ಮೇಲೆ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಕ್ರಮ ಕೈಗೊಂಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದು ಅಮಾನವೀಯ, ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಖಂಡಿಸ್ತೀವಿ.
Nearly 17,000 people have been killed by the coronavirus in India. Humanity and dignity is dead. Needs to be on top of each state's COVID management policy. With Nagarjun Dwarkanath and Nolan Pinto in Bengaluru, Bureau Report, India Today.
And the point is, these visuals haven't come from only one place in Karnataka. This was Bellary. Let's take you now to Yadgiri in Karnataka, where COVID patients dishonored in their final rites as they were taking place. Take a look at these visuals that have come in from Yadgiri. On your screens right now are the visuals from Karnataka's Yadgiri, Bellary and Devangar, where health workers dragged and dumped the bodies into a pit. These bodies were first taken out from the ambulance by the medics, which dragged them before plainly dumping them and leaving them in a pit. All right, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of 7 at 7. We, of course, will join you tomorrow. To stay with us, up next is our consulting editor, Rajdeep Sardesai, with In Depth.
Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.